Hello, and welcome back to the Golden Octagon MMA Podcast. If you guys don't know me, my name is Matt, and as always, I am joined by the reigning and defending big champ of the week, my guy D-Rose. How you doing this week, man?
We in here. The pick champ is back, and coming off a weird weekend in MMA, but I thought it was a really good card overall. But man, we got a lot of news to get to today. It's been a big splash of news over the last couple of days. So that MMA news train, it just keeps it moving and just keeps it so excited. And these announcements that are coming up really just kind of puts in a bottle for us, for our fandom, our excitement, and the reason why we love, of course, the UFC, but MMA in total.
I would have to agree with you, man. I would have to agree with you. With that being said, just real quick, let's run down on what you guys have to look forward to on today's show, and then I'll start shouting out the chat just real quick. So on the beginning of today's show, just real quick, you guys know, touch on a few results from this past week. I do know Dorian has at least one rant that he wants to go on. It has been a few days, so it may have settled down a little bit now, but I'm sure I can strike some nerves and he can give it back to us. Some headlines from this past weekend. Then we got all of our news and fight announcements. And as D-Rose said, there is a lot this weekend. Lastly, we'll jump into our picks and preview for this upcoming weekend's fights. And then we don't have any fights next weekend, so I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know. Me and D-Rose have been at this, I think, Dorian, for 20 weeks straight now. So me and D-Rose are going to take a break next Wednesday. We're not going to have a show next Wednesday, but truly, we truly do appreciate all of y'all that just come by here every single week just to say what's up. So that being said, let's shout out to the chat. We got Lush Low Man in here early. What's going on, brother? He is just ready to go.
I was at Lush Low Man, man. He number one, dude. He's been rocking with us hard the last couple of weeks. So
yeah.
Got to shout out Lush Low Man for sure.
Yeah, he's been in here early for sure. We got Austin in here. What's going on, brother? Yeah, he's just in here ready to go.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man. So that being said, I guess overall thought of the fights this past weekend. Did you win any bets? Let the people know.
No, I did not win any bets. I guess UFC 288. Maybe that was just a once in a lifetime moment for me, and now it's just back to regular life as far as me losing bets by one leg and things like that. But no bets hit. But I would say that the card overall, and I wanted maybe your perspective on it too. I thought the card overall actually really delivered. A lot of finishes on the card. I think the main card, I believe it was all finishes. So except for the co-main event. So, but really good performances. And I thought that crowd was really rocking from getting to the end. And I thought it was a good card or a good crowd too, because maybe that Jersey crowd, they were a little bit annoying. There's been a couple of fans, in the crowds here lately that have been a little annoying as far as booing. But no, I thought the Charlotte crowd brought it, and made me kind of have a FOMO there for a little bit. Made me kind of wish that I did end up going and maybe spend a little bit of cheddar to go see it live.
Yeah, me and D-Rose, we're going to actually go to Charlotte to watch this, but, he's about to go on vacation in this upcoming month, right? So,
right,
it's like he's about to come down here to my side of the state, so hopefully we'll have some pretty cool content for you guys when he comes down here. But, yeah, he decided to save some money. But my thoughts on the card overall, dude, good card. As you said, lots of finishes. I can't be mad because – although a few of two fights kind of threw off my fucking parlays altogether, but I did hit one solid one, a $5 one. I won a $5 four leg, and I won like $275 off of it. So I can't be too mad at that. I did turn around the same night and spend about 200 of it on UFC cards that I didn't end up getting anything cool, but it's okay because it was basically free, right? I used my UFC knowledge and got some free stuff. So that being said, let's give you the results from this past weekend, and we'll give you the results for the pick champ and all of that. Jairzinho Rosenstruck versus Gelton Almeida. Gelton Almeida does defeat Jairzinho Rosenstruck round 1 submission. Dorian, and could I have called that fight any more perfectly? Like, I'll let you know exactly what was going to happen. I was like, front kick to takedown to Donkey Kong to him turning around to rear naked choke, and that's what happened, dude.
Yeah, to a T, man.
Yeah, Johnny Walker does defeat Anthony Smith via decision. Ian Gary does defeat D-Rod Daniel Rodriguez via first round TKO. Carlos Ulberg does defeat Ihor Prateria first round TKO. Alex Moreno does defeat Tim Means via second round submission. And on our prelims, we had Matt Brown defeating Court McGee via first round knockout. Carl Williams defeating Chase Sherman via decision. Douglas De Silva de Andrade does defeat Cody Stamen via decision. And Dorian, we'll get your thoughts on that fight. And then this one kills me, dude. Mandy Baum does defeat Ji Young Kim midway through round 3 split decision. And we'll talk about that one for just a second.
We need to get your thoughts on that one.
Yeah, dude. Brian Battle does, and I want to get your thoughts on this one too. Brian Battle does defeat Gabe Green 14 seconds into round 1 via knockout, dude. What a solid game plan Gabe Green had. And then our first fight of the night was Tanara Lisboa versus Jessica Rose Clark, where Tanara Lisboa does submit Jessica Rose Clark at 4 minutes and 20 seconds into the third round. So those were the results from this past weekend. And me and D Rose every single week put up a pick champ on the line. We had 3 fights this past weekend. We put a pick champ up. Whoever gets the most fights right gets the champ. Dorian, this will be he had it last week, and he will continue to have it this week because our 3 different fights were Matt Brown versus Court McGee, and Dorian did pick Court McGee, and I did pick Matt Brown. So hell yeah, because that was the most statement one overall. Our second one was Jessica Rose Clark via versus Tanara Lisboa, where Dorian did pick Tanara Lisboa, and I did pick Jessica Rose Clark. And then our third one, our split decision one, dude, was Ji Young Kim versus Mandy Baum, dude. And that's where that's honestly where we're going to start our discussion at this week, dude. Go ahead and show your pick champ, dude. Go ahead and show your pick champ. I'm going to full screen you. Full screen you.
The
yeah,
champ,
go ahead and
baby.
hold that
the
high.
Champ. Because
hold
I correctly predicted.
And then realize this is how you won that pick champ this week. This is Dorian this week right here. D Rose is Mandy Bum this week. Congratulations. Yeah, hold it high, winning it like this. So, so just go ahead, just soak it in. Soak it in, dude.
Dude, I told you that Ji Young Kim was going to throw an illegal knee at the end of the third round and lose a point. Like, I told you that was going to happen. I predicted it correctly. And, of course, bringing the pig champ back home for another week again. So, basking in the success that we've been having over the last couple of weeks.
So just real quick, this fight went to a split decision, and at the end of the second round, Ji Young Kim gets a point taken for I guess push kicking off Bum at the end of the round.
It was after the bell.
Yeah, it was probably like 2 seconds late. I get it. Should a point have been taken? Probably not. You know, it wasn't like a head kick or a punch or anything. It was kind of like a push. Like it wasn't an actual kick. Probably unnecessary point taken. And then the fight gets stopped midway through the third round for an illegal knee. The fight is called off. You know, the fight is stopped. The judges submit their scorecards. After the judges have submitted their scorecards, the referee goes over to Ji Young Kim and takes another point away from Ji Young Kim. And then there's like 15 minutes in between because the judges had already submitted their scorecards. They had to go back, change their scorecards, dude. And then the outcome of the fight is Mandy Bum wins via split decision after Ji Young Kim gets 2 points taken away, dude. How trash do you have to be, dude? Like, Jesus. I say this every time she fights, dude. And it's just like, after one round, her mouth is just hanging open, like, get me out of here. And then that's what happens, dude. She just is getting by with these bullshit things that happen like this, dude. This fight literally pisses me off to no end. Now the Fire Fist has gotten cut from the UFC, when in reality, Mandy Bum should have been cut from the UFC. Lush Lomain, definitely happy for you. So,
Lush Lomain, let's go, man. riding with the champ, and still, it was a weird fight because Ji Young Kim, she definitely was dominating in the first round.
Dude,
With her
stunned
striking.
her with the first punch she threw. She was like,
yeah,
what
and
happened?
she was getting some vicious ground and pound there in the first round for a little bit of that sequence, and then in the second round, she just kept going to the ground. And I know we were talking about it the other day. Her coaches were like, get off the ground, quit going for submissions, quit. And that was what put her in position to throw that push kick at the end of the second round. 2 seconds after the bell. And John Anik had even mentioned, Ji Young Kim was acting like she was pissed off the whole time. You would think someone as, calm, cool, and collected as she normally is, she wouldn't lose her cool like that. But just, very uncharacteristic of her, and ended up really costing her the fight at the end of the day.
Yeah, man. From what I heard, the reason she was so emotional going into the fight is because the last time that they fought, Ji Young Kim missed one of her grandparents' funeral to to actually fight her, and then on fight day she pulls out of the fight. So she had a whole training camp and missed her grandparents' funeral for that fight, and then she didn't even get to fight. And then this camp, the reason her knees were all fucking wrapped up like Francis is apparently she had actually tore her, I think, MCL this week, dude. So she was just trying to get through the fight. And, I'm going to miss the Fire Fist because she was always fun to root for. Dorian always was like, bro, I don't know why you like this girl.
I mean, literally lost 5 fights in a row. And the thing that is crazy is because I always make fun of you because I'm like, you're one that, like, as soon as someone takes a couple L's, you're like, oh, I'm out of here. Like, you immediately hop off.
You think that, but it's like, I'll be a fan of someone, and then I'll just think someone's a fun fighter or a
yeah, I mean, everybody has segments.
Fighter. Yeah,
everybody has kind of like segments in which they fall.
I was a fan of the Fire Fist, dude. I was a fan of the Fire Fist. I don't know why. She was like like when she was like the Fire Fist, she was like I just thought that was so interesting, dude. So cool, but hey, it is what it is, dude. Give me your thoughts real quick on this fight right here. That is Brian Battle versus Gabe Green, man. Let me know what happened here.
Dude, I had no idea. Like, I thought Brian Battle was going to win. We had both picked him, and I thought, for an underdog, I thought that he was going to have a good chance. But I thought that it was going to be a competitive fight. Gabe Green, he was competitive with Ian Gary. He's been competitive in the UFC so far, so you thought that he would have came in a little bit more collected, but dude just came out and was just like, ooga booga me smash, and just walked forward with just swinging just punches like a dumb caveman just for the 14 seconds, and Brian Battle just back against the fence. Not the same right hand that Izzy landed coming off the fence, but similar to, kind of bouncing off the fence, landing that right hand counter and just catching Gabe Green clean. And dude, the pop on that crowd when Brian Battle landed that KO was I got cold chills like watching it from my home, or like I was actually at work watching the fight, but but yeah, I literally was like sneaking off, like watching, and I was like, dude, like I got cold chills just watching that moment, just because, yeah, he got on top of the cage and just taking it all in, and sucks that he missed weight, but Dana White had even mentioned in his post-fight press conference that he was actually going to still end up taking care of Brian Battle for a bonus. So he said he was still going to end up giving him a bonus regardless, even though he did miss weight. So thought that was cool and a vicious knockout.
Yeah, bro. Gabe Green just ran at him like he was like the Incredible Hulk or something, dude. Like what he did.
Gabe Green smash. It was like, you get smashed,
dude. Brian Battle just planted and just fucking drilled him, dude. And hey, the newly named Butcher in his hometown gets the first round knockout, 14 seconds. And then, dude, this one right here. You gotta let me know. Talk about it.
Yeah. So really, my issue is more with it was a bad decision. Cody Stamann won the fight. He won the first round. He won the third round cleanly. Third round could have potentially been a 10-8. But the biggest sequence in the round or in the fight was in the first round when Cody Stamann ends up getting the takedown. And when he gets the takedown, he gets on top of Douglas Silva de Andrade. And Douglas Silva de Andrade doesn't necessarily throw a kick when he's at the bottom position. But what he does is that he puts his foot on his neck and he pushes up on Cody Stamann. Now, Cody Stamann has top position at this point. And what the ref does, the ref stands them up and he looks at Douglas Silva de Andrade and says, hey, don't do that again. And he's like, okay. And then the ref says, fight. And Cody Stamann's looking around like, did I literally just lose position? And he was like, yeah, I warned him. What the fuck does a warning have to do with him losing his position? Like, dude, he was in perfect position to do as far as control, ground and pound. You don't know what could have happened out of that position. Douglas Silva de Andrade could have gotten up for all we know. But one thing that I do know is that Douglas Silva de Andrade does get a little bit comfortable on his back with his jiu-jitsu. And Cody Stamann was a pretty decent wrestler, so probably would have tried to control that for a little bit longer. And yeah, the ref stands him up for no apparent reason. Doesn't even have a reason why. Didn't take a point from Douglas Silva de Andrade or anything from it. And come to find out, the way that Douglas Silva de Andrade did the push kick off of Cody Stamann's neck, dude, that was not even illegal. So the ref didn't have to reset the position in the first place. He didn't have to reset it because it wasn't an illegal kick. Like Cody Stamann looked up and complained about it. Yeah, all the ref had to say was, hey, that's not an illegal kick. Or just give him the fucking position back. And he would have been able to have won the first round cleanly, so we wouldn't have had any dispute. But yeah, that busted my parlay. And the third round could have potentially been a 10-8 because Cody Stamann was beating him from one side of the octagon to the other. He got absolutely robbed and got a raw deal in that. Absolutely.
Yeah, man, that one also busted a few.
Yes, Lush. Yes, Lush. Dude, I was pissed, dude. I was pissed. I'm with you, man. Busting my parlays too. I seen that parlay comment. Yep, busting mine too. That's why I'm pissed.
Yeah, that was one of the ones that crushed a few of mine. But one of the ones that helped out, one of the ones I won was this one right here. Tell me about it, dude.
Dude, Carlos Ulberg. I mean, we both been pretty high on him. I think myself more than you. I know you've been I know that Nzechukwu fight kind of had you a little bit hesitant, but I mean, if you look at it now, I mean, that loss has kind of aged pretty well considering the fact that Nzechukwu's just been finishing everybody and destroying everybody here as of recently. And dude, Carlos Ulberg, I mean, honestly, he's easy with power. Like, I mean, I don't want to necessarily say he's not that smooth of a kickboxer, but he is in and out. He's aiming. He doesn't throw and hope. He aims and fires. Like, he's actually like throwing shots to land. Like, he's not throwing them just to be winging them and stuff. But dude, that check left hook is absolutely money. I mean, Tefani Chukwi got him with it. Nikolai Negamarianu got him with it, and Io Frateria got him with it now. I mean, that check left hook is money. It's fast as lightning. And the one thing I like about Carlos Ulberg, what he does with his ground and pound finish is he's so good at getting off on like an angle when he's landing his ground and pound. So like the guy doesn't have a chance to like maybe go for a leg grab or something like that to, try to tie him up to maybe where Carlos Ulberg isn't going to land his bigger shots. Like as soon as he has his opponent hurt, he knows the angles that he can throw to land the most vicious and deadly punches to get his opponent out of there.
Hell yeah, brother. Last three real quick. Matt Brown, Court McGee. You want to talk about that at all?
Dude, I just thought it was awesome for Matt Brown, man. I mean, I did pick Court McGee to win this fight, but I thought that Court McGee, I didn't think that he was going to be trying to. I mean, I don't think he was necessarily trying to stand there and bang with Matt Brown, but necessarily, I thought he was going to try to use a little bit more of his wrestling. Matt Brown can be taken down from time to time, but 42 years old and Matt Brown still got the hammer, man. So cool to see him climbing up there in the UFC rankings as far as most knockouts in the company's history. I think he's tied with Derek Lewis for 13 now. So that's really awesome to see Matt Brown kind of work his way up the ladder like that as far as the knockout leaders. And dude, it was brutal.
Yeah, man. Is this not the perfect picture for how the Ian Gary versus D-Rod fight ended, dude?
Yeah, and dude, you
Yeah,
even sent
let me
me,
move this for just a second.
dude.
Jesus, dude.
I mean, it's brutal, and you
He
even
was
sent me
reaching for the body kick and just got crushed to the neck.
yeah. Yeah, you sent me his pre-fight press conference where he was talking about, he was just super confident, and I think you had even said that just listening to how confident he was, it convinced you that he was going to end up finishing him. And I was even still like, if he finishes him, it's probably late. D-Rod's super tough, and I'm a fan of D-Rod, so D-Rod's super tough. He doesn't get hit that clean. He's good defensively, and Ian Gary literally called it. I mean, I thought he really controlled the whole week too, from the weigh-in stuff to, and whether D-Rod really ate the pizza that made him miss weight or not. I mean, we don't really know if he actually ate the pizza and smoked the weed or not, but it's just the fact that Ian Gary was just in the most comfortable mindset, 100% confident, and called a shot, said he was going to double up with the body shots to get him to drop his hand and would land the head kick. And he called a shot 100%. And dude, he's starting to come into his own now.
Yeah, man. I don't have any picture of the Johnny Walker versus Ian Gary, but you want to give a breakdown of that real quick? Real quick, right before you get started, I sent you one comment, I think midway through like the third round, and I was like, dude, fucking Johnny Walker is one of the best fighters in the UFC at kicking range. But when he closes at like the punching range, dude, his chances drop to like 25% chance of like fucking winning and 75% chance of getting clean knocked out, dude. Anytime he closed the distance, I was like, oh, here he goes. Dude, I was this close to betting Johnny Walker by decision. Even Friday on my I had a live chat Friday, and I was like, dude, Johnny Walker via decision is plus 700. You guys should maybe take a look at that. And I wasn't brave enough to play it because I was like, dude, he gets chinned so easily. And the whole fight, I was just waiting on him to get chinned, dude. Me and you did pick Anthony Smith to win that fight, but let me know what you think. Let me know what you thought about the fight.
Yeah, I thought it was a good performance from Johnny Walker. I thought that I thought that was really the first performance of where we could say he really was able to stay composed and not get too overwhelmed. Because I mean, I think they said this is the first fight that he's actually won by decision in the UFC. So I think you do have to give him some credit for that. He's usually the wild man going in.
I thought he beat. Who did he beat? I thought he beat Thiago Santos.
He went
by decision.
No, he lost to Thiago Santos. He went to decision with Thiago Santos, but he lost by decision. That was his first fight that he actually.
Though, yeah.
Not particularly, but it wasn't a good fight either. So it wasn't a good fight either. But no, I thought that Walker, for him to go from to do all 3 rounds, I thought that was impressive. Maybe he was so concerned with going 3 rounds that he didn't necessarily go for the finish when he could have maybe had a chance against Anthony Smith, when it almost looked like Anthony Smith was ready to be put out of his misery there in the 3rd round. And we know how tough Lionheart is. He's a dog. He's been in there with, the toughest of dudes. And, for Smith, it was tough to see him getting battered like that, but it looked like he was about ready to go. When DC even kept mentioning it a couple of times, he's ready to go with one more leg kick. But, to answer Lush Lomaine's point, I think, honestly, for why Smith was pissed at Walker, I don't know if he was pissed at him more than trying to muster up some sort of motivation, especially when you see them making the comment of, you see that exchange that they had in the 2nd round. Yeah, Anthony Smith accusing Johnny Walker of attacking his family. Johnny Walker's like, what are you talking about? Like, and like he was completely confused about the whole thing. But I think that's Anthony Smith trying to muster up something else to kind of give him that extra gear to keep going. And maybe at this point, maybe he just can't get it out of 2nd gear. I mean, I don't want to try to force him into retirement. And, he's only fought nothing but killers, Anthony Smith. But maybe he should consider it if he doesn't take a step down in competition. But Johnny Walker, I just thought that that was good for him. And what's that, 3 wins in a row now for him? So good to see him kind of get back on track.
And then our last one real quick, dude. Main event. As I said, dude, this went exactly how I said that was going to go, but I mean, it wasn't a hot take by any means. That's how every Jairzinho, I mean, that's how every Jelton Almeida fight goes. Yeah.
Yeah, and this one was no different. And I mean, we both thought that Jelton Almeida was going to win pretty easy, and I was like, well, maybe, going later into the week, I was like, well, maybe Biggie Boy, maybe he's got a chance. He's pretty big, and once I seen them at the face-offs, and they said there was only about an inch height difference, there was at least 2 to 3. I mean, Jelton was a good deal, like towering over Jairzinho at the weigh-ins, and that just made me feel even more confident. And I don't think it really matters too much that he's going to be weighing around at 230 or so. I mean, if he bulks up to 240, maybe. But I mean, I think with his athleticism, and once he gets it to the ground, is where he's different, because you just don't see heavyweights with that type of ground control. And for Jelton, I mean, just his ability to just keep the transitions going, keep the scrambles going, control position, and the way he was able to set up that finish against Jairzinho when he kind of had Jairzinho on the fence, kind of in that Habib Conor McGregor position where Habib got the rear naked choke on Conor, but so Biggie Boy goes to almost give up his back, and then he doesn't want to give up his back, so then he has to lay flat on his back and then gives Jelton full mount, and then Jelton just goes, just ground and pound on his face until Jairzinho gets up his back, and it was just simple as that. So Jelton's going to be a problem for a lot of dudes, and it's going to be really interesting to see how they match him up going forward, because I don't see too many dudes beating that man.
What's going on, Benjamin? You're good.
What's up,
man.
Ben?
We've just been talking about this past weekend's fights. D Rose had a rant or two, but it's all good. It's all good. And then we
had one of your own with Mandy Boom.
Yeah, recaps at the moment. But that being said, we are done with this week's recaps, as Dorian gets a sip of Food Line water there, not sponsored.
Damn right. Need to work on it though. As much as I'm up in there, need to get the sponsor.
One of these days, dude, I'm gonna have a person reach out that's not a cryptocurrency wallet. Dude, so far it's the only people that have offered to sponsor me have been cryptocurrency wallets, and I'm not going to promote a scam. I'm just not. All right, man. News and announcements for this week, and we got a shit ton. So here's the first one that kind of went under the radar, and I just now saw it because it happened a week ago at this point. So we got the return of Damir Ismagulov, dude. I guess he's back in the UFC. Going to be taking on KGD, Grant Dawson, on July 1st. You care about that one?
That's actually a pretty decent fight. Ismagulov has a pretty decent takedown defense, and Grant Dawson, he's been looking good as of late. He's a good wrestler too, so that's a good fight.
Yeah. Nathaniel Wood, coming off of an injury that put him out against Lerone Murphy, is going to be taking on Andre Feely July 22nd in London. You care about that?
That should be a pretty good fight. Andre Feely might be in for it though.
This one's not in point. I'm not even going to read it to you. I'm not going to read that one. Armin Petrosian versus Christian Leroy Duncan. You care about that one?
I mean, that's a pretty decent fight. I mean, interested to see where Chris Duncan comes in at, since that last fight, his opponent had the injury within like the first minute or so. So interested to see where he's at.
Yeah. Let's see. We got Lando Venata taking on Mike Breeden. You care about that one?
I mean, cool fight, but not super interested.
All right. Getting into this past weekend's fight, and we're about to hit the boomstick, dude. We got CJ Vergara going to be taking on Vinicius Salvador July 29th. Thoughts on that?
That should be a banger. Both guys come in and both guys go in there and slug it out. So they both swing for the fences, and that should be a banger at flyweight.
Yeah, man. Mahmoud Muradov going to be taking on your guy, Brian Bam Bam Barberena, in London.
Ooh. I mean, I have been wanting Byron Barberena to go up against a striker, but What? Wait, Makhmud Miradov? Wasn't he at 85? Because yeah, he lost to Gerald Mearshart. Dude, Makhmud Miradov is dropping down to 170.
170.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's that'll be interesting to see how he because he's a heavy hitter. And he can strike, and that should be a fun fight too. You know, I love Brian Barberena.
Yeah. Man, as soon as I clicked it, what's going on, Tank Niner? Glad you were able to make it in here, brother. Umar's biggest test of the day. We'll get there, brother. We'll get there. Dude, we got this fight's gonna end by armbar. We got Andre Muniz versus Paul Craig, July 22nd.
That'll be interesting, dude. That's that grappler's
down to 185.
Yeah. We I thought we had mentioned that before. I
don't think so. Yeah, damn.
Yeah,
he's a jack dude.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like, but he's not super big at 205 to where I think maybe it seems the way he talks that if he can manage his diet well, he can make 85 pretty easy. So, and kind of like I told you the other day, that's grappler's delight as far as that fight goes. But Muniz can crack, and Paul Craig can be kind of chinny. So, I'd be interested to see how it plays out on the feet.
Paul Craig by survival. pretty much that's how it goes. And dude, here we go for the vacant BMF championship on July 29th, UFC 291. We got the Diamond, Dustin Poirier, taking on Justin, the Highlight Gaethje for the second time, dude. Holy smokes, we got a banger. D-Rose is crying. He's so excited, dude.
Dude, it's such a beautiful fight. I just can't. No, it's no, that's a banger, dude. And I was really surprised that they had made that one the main event, but it does seem like they've been struggling keeping up all the title fights. But I mean, as far as a pay-per-view headliner, I mean, especially with the way they got that card kind of lined up, I know you're going to announce some of the fights here in just a second. And the way that card's lining up, I mean, that's going to be a banger. And that main event, I mean, the first fight absolutely delivered. And the way they fight, I mean, why would this fight not deliver? I mean, that's, chef's kiss on the main event.
BMF makes me feel like it's a WWE 2K custom belt.
All right, so if I'm being honest, do we really need the BMF belt on the line in order for it to be the main event? And that's what I mean.
But I think a lot of people are always asking about it. Like a lot of people are always trying to fight for it. And I think personally, this is my opinion, kind of off topic from the podcast. This was the same day like that Francis dropped his news where he has this huge contract. And like, what are the odds like that Dana waits just a couple hours and revives the BMF title that he's been saying for years now? No, that was a one-time thing. You dropped all this news that I'm about to get into you on top of this to shit on Francis's day. Let's be real. That's exactly what he did. So on the same card, dude, we got Mike Chiesa, the Maverick, going to be taking on Trailblazer Kevin Holland. Thoughts on that?
That's a good fight, and that's a good climb up for Kevin Holland. We have been kind of curious to see how he's going to fare up against the wrestlers, and that's a way for Kevin Holland to get into the top 15. And that's a way for him to kind of test to see where he's at in his grappling too. So I think that's a good matchup for him. And Michael Chiesa, his striking, we know it's not the best, but if he gets it to the ground, he's a threat. So that's a good fight.
Same card. We got Paulo Borrachinha Costa taking on Ikram Aliskerov. Is it Aliskerov? What am I doing?
Aliskerov.
I don't know why I'm having so much trouble with that. Ikram Aliskerov, dude.
Aliskerov.
Just snoozed Phil Halls, but dude, I think that might be not as easy of a fight, dude. Paulo's got a better chin than Phil Halls does.
I'm just telling you now, that fight's not happening. I'm going to tell you now, Paulo Costa is going to have some type of injury. He's not going to have enough secret juice. There's a visa issue. Somebody's going to have a visa issue, something like that. That fight's not happening, man. I can already tell you right now. Timestamp this as of May 17th at 9:11 p.m. That fight is not happening. I'll tell you right now, it's not happening.
All right, you heard it here first. D Rose with a hot take. Paulo Paulo Costa versus Ikram Aliskerov will not be happening, according to D Rose. Also on the same card, we got Jan Blachowicz taking on Alex Pereira, dude. How petty is Alex Pereira? That's like the one dude that he loses to. Like Alex is like, let me go beat this dude real quick.
Well, honestly, is it more that, or is it more of just that? Like, I think it's more that like the UFC is like, you know what? I think Jan's the perfect guy to match up every 85er up against when they move up to 205 because Thiago Santos, a former 85er, moved up to 205, got matched up with Jan, got knocked out. Jacare Souza in one of the most forgettable fights of all time makes his debut at 205 and fights Jan Blachowicz, loses that fight via decision. Izzy moves up while Jan is a champ, and they talk about how easy of a fight it is. And Izzy's like a minus 200 some odd favorite, and he ends up going in and losing the fight. So I wonder if it's just the UFC that's just like, you know what, he's a really beatable dude for any of the 85ers that are moving up. But no, and hear me out on this. I do think that there's a good chance that Alex beats Jan, and that Jan or Alex fights for the title after that. This is a long play to where Izzy is going to move up to 205 and going to look for double champ status against Alex Pereira if Alex can win the title. So I think this is a long play from the UFC to make it happen.
D Rose with another hot take. And as Lushlow Main says, T Ferg is indeed fighting Bobby King Green on the same card, UFC 291, July 29th. Thoughts on that real quick? And then just real quick, him saying Paulo ain't fighting. And yeah, so Paulo for sure going to back out. Him, Benjamin Choate agreeing with you. So T Ferg, Bobby Green.
Yeah, I love me some Tony Ferguson. I love Bobby Green too. So I think as far as matchmaking goes, I hate to see two fighters that I love fight one another, but at the same time, I think it's perfect matchmaking just because where they both are kind of at in their career. And I think Tony Ferguson, if you can't win this one, I do think you have to look at hanging it up at this point, just because just the way he's looked in his last few fights, even in the Nate Diaz fight, being submitted for the first time in his career now. He's been getting finished a lot, and Bobby Green, he's still young enough to where you can still match him up in some fun fights. So should be a fun fight.
Izzy was able to take Alex down, control him. Jan big brothered Izzy on the ground. Yeah, dude, but who knows if the weight cut had anything to do with it. I think Alex is consistently getting better, and takedowns weren't a factor in the second fight. So,
and if you think about it too, Izzy obviously doesn't have the power that Alex does. So let Jan try to step in for a sloppy takedown, and he might be looking up at the lights.
Mm-hmm. Last two on that card, we got the return of Derek Lewis, dude, going to be taking on Paisao Marcus Rogerio de Lima on the same card. Do you like that fight for D-Lew or no?
I do, just as far as, it's a step down in competition. I think it's someone that, he could potentially win against, but I think Rogerio de Lima could potentially try to wrestle a little bit as well. But I would have liked personally, and it's too soon to make the matchup right now, but I would have loved to have seen Derek Lewis and Jairzinho Rozenstruik, just as far. We know both of them are going to strike. We know they're going to bang. And we knew it was going to be a fun fight for as long as it lasted, where I think Rogerio de Lima can go in there and potentially wrestle Derek Lewis to a decision. So, but I hope Derek Lewis goes in there, gets that slugging uppercut, and knocks his ass out.
I hope so, dude. That'd be great. And the last one announced for that card right now is going to be Wonder Boy Stephen Thompson versus Michel Pereira, dude. And this is exactly the fight that Wonder Boy was asking for. In his last two fights, he got Kevin Holland and now Michel Pereira, dude. As Kevin Holland is getting Hamzat and Michael Chiesa, he's not getting the fights that he's asking for, dude. What the hell? But thoughts on Wonder Boy versus Michel Pereira?
Yeah, well, I mean, just as far as like Stephen Thompson goes, these are the fights he's been asking for, because he was getting the Gilbert Burns, the Bilal Muhammad's, guys like that were constantly going to wrestle him, put pressure on him that way. And, I think Stephen Thompson kind of knows at this point he's not going to be contending for a title. So I think he really just wants to be put in as fun of fights as he can. And, he seems to be willing to give the up-and-comers opportunities to come take his spot in the rankings. And that's what, you got to come to appreciate as a fan from Wonder Boy. He kind of recognizes the position that he's in. And Pereira, I'm more interested to kind of get your gauge, man, because you were all about this dude when he first came in, and now you just kind of jumped off the bandwagon. But, he's had a good escalation. He's, won 5 fights in a row, so he's looked good. And honestly, you get this win, man, 6 wins in a row. In the welterweight division, it's not easy. And, you beat a guy like Wonder Boy. I think some people got to start taking him a little more serious.
Yeah. All right. I feel like I've already explained this multiple times. Why? It's not that I'm not a fan of him. He's a good fighter. I just thought he was a lot more entertaining when he did the crazy shit. I was a fan of the crazy shit. I thought it was fun to watch. Like, holy shit, what's he going to do this time? And then he's just slowly started to tone that down, and he's just not as exciting. Like when he fought who was Armin Petrosian, he just fucking smacked him the whole time. Like it was interesting.
That was awesome though. I love that.
But that was the last moment that I can like remember him like fucking doing something that was cool, I guess.
The backflip head kick to Nico Price on the ground.
After that, or was it?
That was after he slapped up. Yeah, that was after he slapped up Petrosian, or it wasn't Petrosian, but
it's just like it's a lot more toned down now, like the way it used to be. And I was a fan of him flying through the air and shit. I thought that was so fun to watch. I'm still a fan of him. I'm not as much as a fan of him as I used to like watching him fight, if you will.
But dude, you don't remember when he boxed up Andre Fialho too? When Andre Fialho took that on short notice, and Pereira was landing combos. Like, dude, I guess I don't know. I get it. He is more tame, but I think it really helps hone in his ability. Honestly, I've been more of a fan of him, that he's been a little more toned down, because I thought that he's been more calculated in his last few fights. And as I said, that Fialho fight, he boxed combos around Andre Fialho in that fight, and I picked Fialho going in that fight to beat him. So I don't know. I like the escalation Pereira's on right now.
I guess I became a fan of him fighting what was his name? Christian,
or it's Danny Roberts, right?
No, it was the dude on
Tristan Connolly.
Tristan Connolly on super late notice. That fight made me a fan of Michel Pereira. He lost that fight, but I was just watching that with pure joy, dude. Like, what is happening right now? That fight was the best for me. Even though he lost it, it was pure entertainment. Austin saying he had to tame it down in order to be a real threat. And indeed he did. I get it. But the last 2 fights that we do have to announce, dude. Zhang Weili versus Amanda Lemos for the co-main event, headlining UFC 292 August 19th in Boston, dude. Give me your thoughts. I know you thought Amanda Lemos was probably going to get passed up, but it looks like she's getting her shot, brother. So let me hear it.
Yeah, I'm a Lemos fan, and I was happy to see that she was getting her title shot, because I did think there was a chance that she was going to get passed up for Yan Xiaonan, because Yan Xiaonan, dude, she had a phenomenal performance against Jessica Andrade, and honestly, I think if she had got the title shot next, I don't know if too many people actually would have complained, and that was what kind of had me worried for Lemos in that position, was that a lot of people weren't really going to care, because they wanted to see the China versus China matchup with Yan Xiaonan and Zhang Weili. But I think the matchup with Lemos, I just think that she brings a little bit of a different element. She's a little bit more kind of Andrade with the wildness, but she's a lot more precise with her punches. And she had that submission loss to Andrade, but for the most part, man, you don't really see her get bullied as far as like the striking. On her feet, she's the one who's establishing the pressure and bullying people. And she did what very few women could do, and that's actually drop Angela Hill. She dropped her with one of those Anderson Silva front kicks, and was on the verge of finishing Angela Hill via strikes. So she's a dog, man, and I love the way she fights. And I'm super pumped that she's gonna get a title fight against Weili, and that should be a banger for as long as it lasts.
Yeah, brother. And for the main event for that card, as I said, UFC 292, August 19th in Boston. The main event headlining the show is for the bantamweight title. Aljamain, the Funkmaster Sterling, going to be taking on the Sugar Show. Sean O'Malley, dude. It's his time, brother. You know, how long have I been waiting on this moment, dude? I've been a fan of him for so long now. Ever since the Contender Series, you always make fun of me about how I was so hyped fucking watching him fight Terrion Ware, dude. Hey, dude, it is what it is. I'm a fan of Sugar Sean O'Malley ever since the first time I seen him fight when Snoop Dogg was like, O'Malley, O'Malley. Dude, he's getting his title shot. You know I'm going to be rooting for him nonstop. I think he knocks Aljo out. That's just my personal preference. But, hey, I couldn't be any more biased. So give me your thoughts and opinions on the main event for UFC 292, man.
Man, that's actually, as long as that card holds up, that co-main and main event, those are some banger of fights. And, you know, I do like the matchup between Aljo and Sugar. And, you know, with the way that Sean O'Malley matches up against Aljo, his striking, you know, the way he's a sniper, I think, you know, he's going to have a lot of potential to maybe put Aljo out of there. But we do know at the end of the day that that Sean O'Malley hasn't really faced a grappler to the level of Aljamain Sterling yet. And I do know that, you know, Sean O'Malley has said that he's been working on his grappling defense and his jiu-jitsu, and he, you know, he's kind of prepared for those moments. But I do think that, and even Henry Cejudo kind of alluded to it, and after his fight with Aljamain Sterling, that, you know, it's a lot easier said than done. You know, he has seen Aljo as an easier fight, but he said once you go in there with Aljo, you know, it's a lot different, man. So I'm curious to see, you know, just the contrast in styles with the precision striking with Sean O'Malley and just the aggressive nature in your face, you know, looking to get you to the ground and submit you with Aljo. You know, I'm just curious to see how that plays out. But I mean, I think early, yeah, I'm definitely leaning towards Aljo early so far.
Hell no, brother. Hell no. The size, the power, it's going to put his freaking lights out. Look at that. But Joel's saying, I think they'll add Marab Triple C to that Boston card. Wouldn't surprise me, dude. And that would only add to it even more, dude. Sugar wins until Cheeto gets his title shot. If he can ever get past, because he took that fight, that wasn't a smart fight to take against Corey Sandhagen. Lush Lemaine saying, and new. Matt, I know you're number one Sugar fan. This is coming from a person who doesn't like Sterling. I've learned a lot to not bet against Sterling. Hey, brother, it's all right. I know it when I see it. I can get all the hate in the world, but when it comes down to where Aljo is snoozing in the middle of the octagon from a right hand from Sugarland, I'm gonna be like, hey, I told y'all. But it's all right. Austin saying, I want Sugar to get it done now. It's all good. I'm a huge Sterling fan, but with that being said, I bet Sean. So it looks like people are kind of split. I did see opening odds. I think fucking Sean O'Malley's a plus 125 dog. Aljo is a minus 140 favorite. So thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's actually surprisingly close. Does seem like the Aljo on his championship betting lines, like, man, he just can't seem to get that minus 200, you know, kind of range as far as the favorites and is early odds. So obviously, you know, the lines are going to close, you know, probably wider or closer, you know, when the fight gets closer. But yeah, I'm interested to see maybe fight week kind of where that line stands.
Yeah, man. That being said, that's all of our news and shit. So we have a lot of bangers to look forward to. As I said, this all was announced on Francis's day that he announced that he signed a PFL deal. Thoughts on Dana White just completely shitting all over Francis today, real quick?
Yeah, kind of crazy that, you know, he just, you know, tried to shit on him like that. But honestly, I mean, I would say that, I mean, I thought that Francis really, because I do want to talk about it from the Francis perspective. I really think that Francis kind of came out ahead. You know, people are going to say that he fumbled the bag and everything, and, you know, if Francis had to beat John Jones, and then if he had to beat Stipe, and then if he had done this, he would have made more in the long haul than he did on his current PFL deal. But his current PFL deal has more of a flat rate guarantee than, because had he lost the title, he wouldn't be making that type of money anyway. And one of the things that he was able to get in his deal with PFL is that he didn't have a championship clause, because he did not have a championship clause in his contract with the UFC. And he said that that's what the UFC tried to do for him coming back into this contract. And basically the championship clause is at the after you have a title fight, you have added fights onto your contract. Francis didn't want that. So the PFL is kind of giving him everything that he's wanted. Plus, they've given him the flexibility to, if he wants to fight Deontay Wilder, or I don't think they're going to make a Tyson Fury fight, but if he wanted to box Deontay Wilder or just have like some celebrity boxing match and make, a shitload of money doing that, he can still do that, still come back and fight in MMA. And he's the president of the, I believe they said it was the PFL Africa. He's the chairman for them, basically going to help groom up and coming talent in Africa. So I really do think that Francis kind of did come out ahead. I think Dana really did try to take a shit on what Francis is trying to do, but at the end of the day, Francis is getting his money, man. So he's doing his thing. People trying to say he's scared, but honestly, I really think he's changing the game. And I think PFL, man, we kind of talked about it before, but I think PFL is really going to make a big splash over this next year or so to really put their mark on the game, that they're not too far off from the UFC as far as a big competitor in the MMA game.
Yeah, Benjamin Chode saying Francis didn't fumble the bag at all, and Lush Lemaine saying Dana White is holding grudges from middle school. Indeed. My personal opinion is that he schedules a massive pay-per-view on that same day, dude, because that's going to be. He said he was going to start summer 2024 was going to be his first PFL fight. So that being said, dude, I bet Dana schedules a huge pay-per-view on that same night, dude.
There could be a chance, but I mean, a lot of times the UFC already has pay-per-views set, so I'm sure that what the PFL is probably going to try to do is try to maybe work away from the UFC. Yeah, potentially, or they could just do maybe the next Saturday or the Saturday before, because UFC, we know that their machine, they're pretty much already set for in terms of when the pay-per-view is going to be. You just really got to sort out where it's going to be and who the fighters are going to be. But I think they're going to be smart enough to work around the UFC and not schedule a pay-per-view the same night. Yeah, but man, they both are on ESPN too, so that's going to be interesting to see going forward as well. As see, I don't think there's going to be any partnership in the future, but kind of just seeing how that all plays out.
Yeah, man, it would definitely be interesting, but we've been chatting here for about an hour, so I figure we should start talking about this upcoming weekend's fights, dude. There was a lot of news, though, this past weekend's fights were pretty good. But Dorian, we have a fight card this weekend. I'm going to give it to you like that. We have a fight card. Grade as a whole, do you want to give it to me real quick, just looking over it?
I was because I'm kind of looking over it now, and it is definitely not it's definitely not one of the best. But I mean, to be fair, I mean, we kind of come in and bag on these cards a little bit, but UFC Charlotte, pretty good. UFC 288, the main card wasn't the greatest, but going all the way up through the main card, it was pretty good. So it goes to show that we are spoiled as UFC fans. And they had to scramble at the last second too for this main event, because this main event got lost with Irene Aldana and Rocky Pennington. So, the UFC is kind of doing what they can make do.
Yeah, man. That being said, let's get into it, brother. UFC Fight Night Dern versus Hill. This is going to be happening at the Apex Saturday, May 20th at 4 p.m. Eastern time. So,
pretty early start.
Like the regular fight night time for the card. As I said, at the Apex, we got 12 fights to go over, though. So that being said, let's announce them and break them down, dude. We got Mackenzie Dern taking on Angie Overkill Hill. We got Edmund Head Movement Shabazian taking on Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. We got Emily Ducote taking on Lupe Godinez. We got Andre Fiallo taking on Joaquin Numanza Buckley. We got the Menace Michael Johnson taking on Diego Ferreira. We got Maha Shate, or Misha Tate, however you want to say it, taking on Slavaklav Vyacheslav Borishev. We got Karolina Kovalkiewicz taking on Vanessa Demopoulos, the stripper. We got Orion Kosei taking on Gilbert Abina. That's going to be a tough versus contender series fight right there. We got Beefy Latifi, always hurt coming into the octagon. He's going to be taking on Rodrigo Nascimento. We got Chase, the Dream Hooper, going to be taking on Nick Fiore. We got Victoria Leonardo taking on Natalia Silva in probably one of the craziest lined fights I've seen in women's MMA. And then our curtain jerker, first fight of the night, the fight that we will start at, we got Takashi Sato taking on Themba Gorimbo, dude. So we're going to start right there. Oh, goodness. So now that I ran down them, you got a second thought on how you think this night of fights is going to go, brother?
They just doing what they can. I just say the UFC is doing what they can. I'll just say that.
This card, see, dude, it doesn't get at least halfway decent until maybe starting the main card, dude. It's like, what the hell are we doing? But first fight of the night going to be Takashi Sato taking on Themba Gorimbo. We got 10 Takashi Sato. That is his fight name. Taking on the answer, Themba Gorimbo. Takashi Sato is 16-6, minus 110. Pretty much favorite. I mean, even both sides. Themba Gorimbo 10-4, minus 110. Takashi Sato, 32 years old, 5'10", with a 73-inch reach. Trains down at Killcliff FC with the Black Zillions. What's another name for them, Dorian?
That Samson. They went through so many different name changes, dude. It's so hard to keep up with them.
They keep changing their name, but they train. It's a rather good gym. As where Themba Gorimbo, 32 years old, 6'1", with a 76-inch reach. So Themba Gorimbo going to have about a 3.5-inch reach advantage. But this dude is he's tall, he's lanky. You would think he's a striker, but he's not. He's a wrestler. That being said, Takashi Sato's takedown defense is ass, and he's always getting subbed. The only time he didn't get subbed in his only loss, I believe, is against Gunnar Nelson that just rode his back for all 3 rounds, dude. I'm going to make it quick. Give me a Themba Gorimbo via sub this week, man. Which way are you going?
Yeah, Takashi Sato just hasn't looked too good in his last few fights, and he's been getting finished in his last few fights as well. Yeah. Yeah, nah, definitely. I was gonna say I'm not gonna make this long either. I agree.
I'll be eating 5 guys during this fight, but I'll be watching it, but I'll be like, yeah, what happened?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna be grabbing snacks or no, I'll probably still be at work when this fight's going on, so I won't leave till 5. So maybe it's good that I won't leave, but let's go Gorimbo here.
All right, we're both going Themba Gorimbo in the first fight of the night. Moving on up, second fight of the night, Doran. The line of this fight is ridiculous, dude. We got Victoria Fury Leonardo taking on Natalia Silva, dude. And this isn't the current odds, is it? Because earlier when I saw it, like Natalia Silva was like minus 900 favorite. You have the current odds up?
Yeah, what I'm looking at on ESPN is minus 900 and FanDuel as well, minus 900.
Yeah. It's absolutely nuts. But, I mean, we know what's going to happen here. But Victoria Fury Leonardo, 9-4, plus, I would guess she's a plus 700 dog right now. That's my guess.
Plus 600. Yeah, so plus 600.
Kind of close. 33 years old, 5'5", 64-inch reach. Natalia Silva, 14-5, won all 5 of her last 5. Took a 3-year layoff and just come back, just beating straight ass, dude. Last 2 finishes over Treza Bleda and Jasmine Jazdavicius. She's only 26 years old, 5'4", with a 65-inch reach, dude. I got Natalia Silva.
Yeah, we both know how nasty. Yeah. I mean, that was, you're really stepping out there on a limb picking a minus 900 favorite, and I'm really taking a chance too. You kind of broke down the fight better than I could have. So yeah, let's go with Natalia Silva here.
All right, moving on up. Next fight, we got Chase, the Dream Hooper, taking on Nick Fiore, dude. I've seen people split on this one all week, so I assume we might have a different pick here. Chase Hooper, 11-3-1, won 2 of his last 5. Nick Fiore, 6-1, won 4 of his last 5. His only loss so far is against Matus Rebecki in his last fight, UFC debut. near even fight, Chase Hooper minus 120 and Nick Fiore minus 105. Chase Hooper, 23 years old, 6'1", 74-inch reach. Nick Fiore, 25 years old, 5'10", 72-inch reach. Let it be note, this will be Chase Hooper's first fight up at 155. Dorian, I'm going to let you break this one down and make your first pick, dude.
Yeah, I have a hard time picking this fight, and it's really all on Chase Hooper here because, I mean, I'm not going to act like I'm, the biggest fan of Nick Fiore here. I mean, Martuz Rebecki. I mean, I know he's a decent fighter. I don't really remember how that fight went, but man, Hooper, I'm just the only reason I'm hesitating to pull the trigger on him is because I mean he was really lanky and stuff at 145. So I mean, what has he done? Just ate like a bunch of Twinkies and stuff over the last like
M&Ms,
6
brother.
months. Yeah, M&Ms and drinking Dr. Pepper and stuff. Then you try to add weight to make it to 55. I mean, hell, I kept thinking that he could have made 35. Like, that's how skinny he is to me, man. And I think just young, I think the UFC's kind of mashed him up a little bit rough kind of coming up, man. Didn't really give him that chance to kind of develop, kind of threw him into the lion's den. And moving up the division, I know he's trying to look for a fresh start, but man, I mean, Nick Fiore, I mean, he's been talked about highly. They both got a jiu-jitsu background. Man, I think if they're both jiu-jitsu fighters, man, I think I'm going to have to go Chase Hooper here because I think Nick Fiore is not going to have the punching threat that'll put Chase Hooper out. But man, I would not be surprised if Chase Hooper gets hit a couple times and kind of falls over again. Yeah, I'm not going to be surprised, but not confidently going Chase Hooper here.
I'm with you, man. I agree with your breakdown. If it was against anyone that wasn't Nick Fiore, like a person that was probably going to go in and try to box him up like Steve Garcia did, that had some power, I would maybe think this probably wasn't the best decision for Chase Hooper. But that being said, Nick Fiore is also a jiu-jitsu guy himself and trying to take it to the ground. Jiu-jitsu versus jiu-jitsu. We saw, rest in peace, Felipe Colares, but we saw Chase Hooper submit like Felipe Colares not too long ago, and he's a black belt and just pretty much tore through him like butter, dude. That being said, I got to go Chase Hooper probably via sub this week. So it looks like me and D-Rose are both on Chase Hooper this week. I was hoping that old D-Rose would end up going the Nick Fiore side this week.
Nah, I didn't have enough confidence in them. Didn't have enough experience for me. And they're both jiu-jitsu level fighters. I mean, I know Chase Hooper's got pretty decent jiu-jitsu, so if you're going to try to keep it to the ground, I say Hooper should be able to win that.
All right, we just got 29.15. I don't know what that is. 2015, $15. Aljamain Auto still in the mail. Nice, brother. That's what's up. I believe that's
nice.
Might be his like rookie year or at least close to it. That being said, dude, we don't have a different pick yet, do we?
No. All
right, brother. Next fight of the night, we got Alir Latifi taking on Rodrigo Nascimento. We got Alir Beefy Latifi, or the Sledgehammer, whatever his name is, taking on Rodrigo Z Comili. I'm not even going to try that, bro. Rodrigo Nascimento. Beefy Latifi is 16-8, won 2 of his last 5. Rodrigo Nascimento has won 3 of his last 5, 1 loss, 1. It's either no contest or draw. 1 of the 2. I'm not sure. No, because it
was no contest.
Knocked him out. Like it had to have been a no contest. Yeah. That being said, Alir Latifi plus 130 dog. Rodrigo Nascimento minus 155 favorite. Alir Latifi, 40 years old, 5'10", 75-inch reach. Rodrigo Nascimento, 30 years old, 6'2", 80-inch reach, dude. And dude, win or lose, Alir Latifi is going to come in here and tell us what part of him is injured like this week, why he won or lose, why it was a hard training camp. Dude, has there been one Alir Latifi fight that he's won or lost that after he didn't say, I came into this, camp injured, my fucking leg, my arm, my shoulder. He's always hurt. Like, is there one fight?
He's like, oh, my spine, my pinky
back,
toe,
spinal.
hurts
my back,
spinal. Like literally anything. I got a staph infection in both my knees and my elbows. Like it's literally anything that he can come up with, man. So he's really hard to read and man, this is a really tough fight to pick. I ain't gonna lie. This is a really tough fight.
Dude, it's not. I'm going with the actual heavyweight that is Rodrigo Nascimento. I can never pick an injured Alir Latifi, and he's always injured. That's how I know he's injured.
Yeah, no, that is true. He will always let you know, and yeah, I think especially if he's going to be hurt too coming into the fight, got to go with Rodrigo here. If especially if Alir's going to be hurt, you know, he's going to have staph infection, probably like in his shoulder somewhere.
All right, we're both going Rodrigo Nascimento. Next fight of the night. Here we go. Getting to at least some. This one's probably another one that's pretty fucking bad. Neither one of these guys should really be in the UFC, if I'm going to be honest. But we're here. We got Orion Galaxy Kosuke taking on Gilbert, the RGV bad boy, the Rio Grande Valley bad boy, Gilbert Urbina. All right, brother.
What the hell did you just say?
The Rio Grande Valley. It's like a area in fucking Texas. Dorian, learn your damn.
No. It just almost sounded like that. That nickname almost sounded like it got drug out a little bit more than what it really was. It just sounded like it was so much longer than what it was. So,
well, I said the RGV bad boy, I said the RGV, the Rio Grande Valley bad boy. So
okay, yeah. So that's what it was. So you said it and then you said it. That's why I was like, what? But
dude, it does not top the dude's name that is like Obi-Wan Shinobi the Pillow. Like that dude's fucking nickname is the worst, dude.
That dude's got to be out of the UFC at this point.
Nope, he's still in, brother. But anyway, where was I at? Orion Kosuke 8-1, 1-4 of his last 5. Gilbert Urbina 6-2, won 3 of his last 5. Lost to Sean Brady and then got submitted by Brian Battle for the tough finals, I believe. Orion Kosuke is 28 years old, 5'11", 71-inch reach. Gilbert Urbina is 27 years old, 6'3", 74-inch reach. Dorian, I'm going to let you make the wrong pick first, and I'm going to swoop in and pick the right one. Go for it.
Yeah, because I'll tell you, I'm definitely having trouble picking this one. And the reason why is because both are absolute boo-boo. I know
these fighters aren't worth 27 parlay.
Dude, I'm 100% with you, Ben, and I'm just taking a gamble on this. I mean, I know Orion Kosuke beat Blood Diamond, he wrestled him, and then but he was getting banged up in that fight a lot too. Gilbert Urbina, I know he lost to Frank Gore, and he lost to Brian Battle in the finals after Trayshawn Gore couldn't make the finals. But man, maybe taking the time off. The only thing I'm thinking is that he's kind of spent the time getting a little bit better. He's going to have a little bit of a size advantage against Orion Kosuke. So, he can go in there and strike a little bit. If he can implement his range, say Gilbert Urbina gets it done here.
All right, brother, let me set this up from my point of view. This is the third Urbina brother to be in the UFC, and I don't think any of them have got a win yet.
Let's go. Let's go, Gilbert.
Dude. Gilbert Urbina via knockout. That's where I'm going. I think Orion Kosuke going to gas, trying to get him down over the 3 rounds and end up getting knocked out probably early second, third round, something like that. Because Orion Kosuke just pretty much, he goes pretty much kind of, I could be thinking about his brother because he has a younger brother too, but they both kind of fight the same way for the most part. Power wrestlers, throw hooks. That being said, I'm going Gilbert Urbina to get the dub as well. I thought you might go with the UFC vet here, but you didn't.
See, I actually thought you was going to go Kosuke because of the wrestling, and I know you watched the season of The Ultimate Fighter with Gilbert Urbina. I didn't watch it, so I thought you would have assumed that he was going to be garbage.
He's not awful. He's a big guy. He's a big guy. We're both on Gilbert Urbina this week. We don't have a different pick yet. What the hell, man? How you going to lose that pick, Chammy, if you keep picking my guys? Next fight of the night, Karolina Kowalkiewicz taking on Vanessa, the little monster, Demopoulos. Karolina Kowalkiewicz, 14-7, won 2 of her last 5, dude. And I thought she was going to retire after her Felice Herrig win and then after her Silvana Juarez win. But she's not, dude. She's still here, dude. She's still here. Going to be taking on Vanessa Demopoulos. She has won 4 of her last 5. Her only loss coming to JJ Aldrich via decision out of those. Karolina Kowalkiewicz, 37 years old, 5'3", 64-inch reach. Vanessa Demopoulos, 34 years old, 5'2", 59-inch reach. Karolina has trouble when she gets pressured, dude. And Vanessa Demopoulos kind of comes in fearless throwing hooks. She gets touched up sometimes. She don't have the best defense. But I think once Karolina gets hit 1 or 2 times with a power shot, she's kind of like, nah, I'm out. I got Vanessa Demopoulos finishing Karolina this week as the underdog, man. You gonna steal my pick again, or are you gonna have your own pick this time?
The way I see this fight, man, I see Vanessa Demopoulos. I see her trying to work in the range and really trying to work her takedowns. And I think Karolina obviously wanted to try to keep it off the ground, establish the distance, use her experience striking and try to get off with a win. And I think for Vanessa Demopoulos, I think she's going to have a tough time. I think she's going to have a tough time getting a hold of Karolina. I do. I think Karolina, she's kind of been a little bit of a stride her last few fights. Even in the fight against Felice Herrig, we know she was going for a takedown. Gomez Juarez, she was going to go in there and try to take Karolina's head off. And she even tried to use a little bit of wrestling herself in that fight. And Karolina was actually able to implement her wrestling against Vanessa against Juarez Gomez in her last fight. So I think Karolina, man, I think she should be able to get it done. Let's go decision here for Karolina.
I didn't pressure you into that, did I?
No, I thought Karolina was going to be able to. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I picked Karolina her last 2 fights. So hey, she actually won me some money off of a parlay. I think it was UFC 281. I think it was like her, Carlos Holberg, and I think it was Mike Trezano. Yeah, I think it was them. I had a little parlay with them. So I got a little faith in Karolina.
First fight of the night that me and D Rose are picking different on. D Rose going Karolina Kowalkiewicz as the favorite, -150. I am going Vanessa Demopoulos as the 125 dog. Next fight, dude, we're finally getting into some decent fights now. We got Mahashate taking on Slava Claus, Vyacheslav Borishev, dude. And they're finally giving Slava Claus a person that's not going to wrestle him for 3 rounds, dude. Even though, keep in note that Mahashate is a Chinese Greco wrestling champion or some shit like that. But let's be real. It ain't none of that U.S. good old American wrestling or none of that Dagestani wrestling, dude. So it's just not the same. And he's the striking coach at Team Alpha Male, whichever one it is. He's got to be slowly getting better, but doesn't have the best takedown defense in the world. I do think this fight will take place on the feet. Mahashate is a +130 dog. Vyacheslav Borishev -155 favorite. Mahashate, 23 years old, 6 foot with a 71-inch reach. And Slava Claus, 31 years old, 5'11", 69-inch reach. I got Slava Claus via knockout this week, brother. Which way are you going?
Man, I've had a tough time picking this one too. I picked Mahashate. I picked Mahashate in his last few, and
Steve Garcia when he knocked down Steve Garcia early and then got fucking crushed round 2.
Nah, he knocked out Steven Garcia. He lost to
no, Rafa Garcia. My bad. No,
he lost to Rafa Garcia.
Who just fought Steve Garcia?
You're thinking about the dude who Matt Schnell beat. Yeah, that's a year thing. And now I done forgot his name. Yeah, but that's exactly it.
No, because that's fucking down at 125. Like fucking Steve Garcia fights at
No, I know he's 145. I think you're thinking about
Kylan Nordenbecky. There we go.
Okay. Yeah, that one. But yeah, my shot to no, but
yeah.
it was a similar fight to where he was banging the guy up in the first round and got crushed in the
Yeah.
second round. But
Yeah.
no, I mean, Mahashata, he's kind of hard to judge, man, and he is kind of bad when he gets taken down. But so is Borshev. So I mean, we have seen him get taken down by wrestlers, but I think he's going to be a little more hungry. Gosh, I want to go Mahashata so bad. I don't know why. But I'm gonna go Borshev here, man. I think back against the wall, fighting for a UFC contract, and he's vicious with the body hooks, man. So as long as he can keep it on the feet, I think he should be able to be a little more slick with the boxing and get it done.
All right, we're both on Slava Claus this week. If we can get Tapology to load for us, we'll move on up to the next fight. There we go. Next fight of the night. First fight on the main card. So if you guys haven't, do us a favor, hit that thumbs up, support your boys over here, because that's all we ask every single week. We're here giving you our fight picks for free 99. We don't ask anything from y'all. Just give us a thumbs up. Chat with us in the comments. We'll chat back to you, you know. We got Michael Johnson versus Dorian's guy, Carlos Diego Ferreira. He can't change his name. He's still that guy. The menace, Michael Johnson, 21-18. Him and Angela Hill probably have the worst records in the UFC, and they always fight on the same card. It's so crazy. Anyway, Michael Johnson won 2 of his last 5, a plus 120 dog. Diego Ferreira, 17-5, won 2 of his last 5 as well, but lost 3 in a row. And taken a year and a half off after his knee to the ribs against Matus Gamrot.
Yeah.
Michael Johnson, 36 years old, 5'10", 73-inch reach. Fastest paw is at 155, though. Diego Ferreira, 38 years old, 5'9", 74-inch reach. Dorian, I'm going to let you break it down and make your pick. You know which way I'm going here. I would never pick Diego Ferreira.
Yeah, I think this fight for me, the way I see it is, as you know, I always compliment Michael Johnson and his hand speed. The hand speed, still, even at 36 years of age, probably still the fastest hands in the division. His boxing is just absolutely insane whenever he's kind of in that fluid motion, and his hooks are crazy. I think that Diego Ferreira here, he's kind of in the same position as Borshev is, with his back against the wall. He's been fighting a lot of top-tier competition, and although he had been losing to that top-tier competition, he still was, kind of competing with those guys for the most part as well. Where Michael Johnson, we know him to be up and down a lot. He has some weird losses where you say, how in the hell did you lose to that guy? And then he has some wins where he's like, how did you beat that guy? Like, it just makes no sense for Michael Johnson. You don't know which one you're going to get. But one thing I do know is that when he does get a little bit of wrestling put on him, he can kind of crumple to the pressure a little bit. And I think that's what Carlos is going to try to do to try to reel in a win here. I think he just really needs a win at this point, Diego Ferreira. And I think that's what he does. I think he goes in for the wrestling to get a win.
Oh, he did it. He did it. D Rose going Carlos Diego Ferreira this week. Dude, he's going to get fucking snoozed. Snoozed, dude. Snoozed. Dude, I cannot stand him. He's like, it's like, why are you in the UFC, dude? If you don't, like, why are you stepping into the octagon if you don't want to be in there to fight? I just don't understand. It's like the Mandy Bum fight. Why are you going in there to fight if you don't want to fight? It doesn't make any sense to me. And he just seems like that guy to me. And he's a little bit older now, too, dude. 38, dude. Old. MJ about to get the knockout. And our second different pick of the night, D Rose going Carlos Diego Ferreira. I'm going the menace, Michael Johnson. Here we go, dude. Another one. Let's see if we can get a different pick here. I know me and you were chatting about this. I believe it was yesterday, or maybe last night. I'm not sure. We got Andre Fiallo taking on Numansa, Joaquin Buckley. Andre Fiallo, 16-6, won 2 of his last 5. Joaquin Buckley won 3 of his last 5, 15-6 overall, though. Andre Fiallo plus 140 slight dog. Joaquin Buckley minus 175 favorite. Andre Fiallo, 29 years old, 6 foot, 74-inch reach. Joaquin Buckley, 29 years old, 5'10", 76-inch reach. let it be note, this will be Joaquin Buckley's first fight in the UFC down at 170. He did fight UFC. I mean, he did fight, I think, Bellator at 170. So, but this is his first fight in the UFC at 170, dude. If you don't mind, may I break this fight down?
Yeah. Yeah, now go ahead.
All right, D Rose. I believe this is a fight for who's going to land the best shot first, dude. But there are a few subtle differences. Joaquin Buckley coming down from 185, that's something to keep note. How is his weight cut going to look? So I'm interested to see how that's going to look Friday. If he looks sucked out, dude, who knows? Andre Fiallo, on the other hand, he may be busted at this point, dude. His head movement is basically non-existent. Continues to get cracked, dude. And I just feel like once he gets cracked once, he never recovers. It's almost like once you hit him once and you stun him, he just kind of there to get hit. So that being said, neither one of them have the best chins in the world, and Buckley moving down just gives me some hesitancy. Gun to my head, I have to go Joaquin Buckley just due to I know he has power. He has knockouts up at 185. He's quick. He has a gas tank, which I think is another thing that Andre Fiallo doesn't really have the best gas tank either. He has better head movement than Andre Fiallo as well. But dude, this really could go either way, and it wouldn't surprise me if either one of these dudes got knocked out. But I am going Joaquin Buckley via knockout this week. Which way are you going, man?
Yeah, I mean, I think you look no further at the fight of the night because I think this one's going to be it right here. Most of the fights that both of these men are in are absolute bangers, and I think this one will absolutely deliver. I think for Andre Fiallo, I'm a fan of both the guys, obviously, but Fiallo, I like him, and the biggest thing with him is that just taking all the damage in his last few fights. He took all those fights in such short succession as well. Like, I think he took, 5 fights within like 6 months or something like that. Like, dude, he was so active. And
like, this was his fucking very first fight, short notice, Michel Pereira. And then 3 months later took it against Miguel Baeza. And then it was
basically like a couple weeks later,
like 2-3 weeks later, took against fucking Cameron Van Camp. And then he loses against Jake Matthews. And I think that was about, like 3 months after that too. So, and then he just took another one like fucking 5 months later, fucking 6 months later. It's like he hasn't really given time to recover, but he has taken, I guess, close to 6 months off, dude. But that's about how long he took in between Jake Matthews and fucking Muslim Salikov too. So I don't know, dude.
Yeah, and in the Muslim Salikov fight, he actually looked pretty decent there at the beginning, but Muslim Salikov just kept teeing off on him. And man, seeing Buckley in his interviews this week, he looks fired up. He said he's on weight. He feels good. The only thing he's really done is drop a lot of muscle mass in order to cut down to 170, but he said that was easy. Really, all he had to do was just throw in a little bit more of a diet and take off a little bit more muscle and not have to lift as much weights. And, he said the weight cut's been pretty easy. And he kept saying that, Fiallo has power in the first round, but let's see where he goes after that. I'm kind of sensing maybe a late Buckley finish, maybe second, maybe third round. But Buckley seems very confident to me going into this fight, so I think Buckley ends up getting it done. I think he gets a late knockout.
But, bro, you got to keep in mind that he could crack Fiallo fucking round one, get him fucking stumbling around, and then he just stands there once he gets hit, dude. It's like he like fucking freezes, like, oh shit, what do I do now?
Yeah,
like, I didn't train getting rocked.
he does, but I think that and I think it's more of what I took away from Buckley's interview was that he was kind of talking about preaching patience. That was kind of one of the big things up at 85 was that was getting him caught in a lot of his fights, is that he was going in there getting excited and going in there looking for the big home run knockout. And he had success early, but when he fought a little bit at the higher level, he kind of got caught for it. So he did say that he wanted to be a little bit more measured going into this fight. I think he drags it out.
All right, fair enough. We are both going new mindset. Joaquin Buckley. Feature fight of the night, we got Emily Ducote taking on Lupi Godinez. Gordina. Emily Ducote taking on Lupita Godinez. Emily Ducote, 9-7, won 4 of her last 5. Lupita Godinez, 9-3, won 3 of her last 5. This fight is on short notice. This will be at a catch weight of 120, I believe, Dorian. Keep that in mind. Emily Ducote, 29 years old, 5'2", 63-inch reach. Lupe Godinez, 29 years old, 5'2", 61-inch reach. Dorian, I know you are a huge fan of women's MMA, so go ahead and like if I can let me go ahead and break this down for you. I think Emily Ducote does very well when she's in control, pushing the pace, pushing the pressure. But when you look back at the last fight she lost, when Angie Hill was putting the pace and the pressure on her, she just kind of stood there. She just kind of froze. She could never get going. I think Lupe Godinez can do the same thing. She pushes forward a lot. She throws hooks a lot. I'm hoping she implements her wrestling this fight because I think that's a big key. But if not, this fight maybe goes to a pick'em. I have to be honest, because right now Lupe Godinez is slight favorite, but I think that's the bookies counting on her actually trying to take down her two. But sometimes she doesn't. Lupe Godinez, let me mention this. Lush Lemaine, Lupe Godinez coming in on short notice. To go the distance, probably around +1. Oh, that's for the New Monza versus Fiala fight. Yeah, but this one, dude, I think Lupe Godinez puts the pressure on her and believes her stranded like Angie Hill did in her last fight. Give me the favorite in Lupita Godinez. But I'm going to feel dumb when she stands on her feet the whole time and gets outstruck and doesn't even try one takedown. Who's your pick this week, D-Rose?
Yeah, I'll keep it short and sweet. I think that Lupe, she's got good wrestling, good, I guess good boxing, but not the greatest boxing. I think Emily Ducote, she's got good footwork, good boxing. Pretty decent takedown defense for the most part. Her head movement isn't the greatest, but I think she's the cleaner of the two fighters. Give me Emily Ducote here. I think she gets it done.
All right, that is our third different pick of the night. D-Rose going Emily Ducote. I am going Lupita Godinez. Dorian, we're going to have another pick here. Let's see. Co-main event time. Edmund, head movement, or the Golden Boy, whichever you want to call him, Shabazian, taking on Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. Edmund Shabazian, 12-3, won 2 of his last 5. Anthony Hernandez, 10-2, and won 4 of his last 5. Edmund Shabazian, I believe he's like about a +220 dog right now. Anthony Hernandez is, I think, about a +2. Like a -280 favorite, I believe. Is that sound about right, D-Rose?
For what I'm looking at on ESPN right now, ESPN actually has it a little bit closer. Anthony Hernandez -200, and they have Edmund Shabazian at +170 right now. So
okay, so odds have changed a little bit, but we got Edmund Shabazian, 25 years old, 6'2", 74-inch reach. Anthony Hernandez, 29 years old, 6 foot, 75-inch reach. And Dorian, I talked to you earlier in the week. I think this is probably one of the worst fights for Edmund Shabazian possible. And the line kind of shows that, because if he doesn't knock out Anthony Hernandez round 1, he's going to get demolished and the pressure is going to be put on him for the next 2 rounds. And he's going to end up breaking, because Anthony Hernandez, that's his game, is breaking people. And we've seen Edmund break by Jack Hermanson and Derek Brunson. There it is, Jack Hermanson and Derek Brunson. The game plan is there. I suspect Anthony Hernandez is going to stay cautious round 1, hopefully not get knocked out, and then dominate for the next 2 rounds, maybe even get the late finish over Edmund Shabazian. Give me Fluffy Hernandez this week. Which way are you going, D-Rose?
Man, the reason why I have trouble pulling the trigger on Anthony Hernandez is, I kind of can't get that Kevin Holland loss out of my mind. And 2, he's got some good, Adolfo Vieira, Josh Frim, Marc-Andre Barrios, good wins, but in Edmund Shabazian, you can go back and look at his losses, but go back and look at his losses. Derek Brunson, Jack Hermanson, Nasruddin Imavov. When we're talking about levels of competition, I don't think we're talking even close. That's not even talking. I think the best guy Anthony Hernandez faces Kevin Holland, where Edmund Shabazian has fought Brad Tavares and Derek Brunson and all these guys. And I thought in that Lugia and Bulla fight, I thought that he really showed where, if he stays patient, he can still get that finish. And I think that there's going to be a pretty good size advantage between these two. I know it shows 2 inches in the height, but I think when they face off against one another, I think there's going to be a pretty good difference in the size when they face off. And, man, I think Edmund, I thought he looked good in that last fight. I think as long as he doesn't get taken down, I mean, honestly, I don't see how Fluffy beats him if he doesn't get the fight to the ground. So, if he doesn't get the fight to the ground, he's going to get picked apart.
That's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to take him down.
Yeah, but we haven't seen really Fluffy be in a position to where if he doesn't get the takedown, you know what I mean? So if he ends up getting that frantic mode, I mean, because do we not think that Edmund Shabazian has not been working on his wrestling defense over the last few camps? I mean, that's all he's been fighting is nothing but wrestlers than his last, 5 or 6 fights. So I think he's prepared for this moment. He's fought better wrestlers than Anthony Hernandez. Give me Edmund here. I think he gets it done.
Dorian going the big dog this week, and Edmund Shabazian. I'm going Fluffy Hernandez. No way I have faith in head movement. But it's all right. That's going to be in our picks. Count it. Getting that pick champ back this week. Our main event. If y'all haven't, hit that thumbs up button for us because we would greatly appreciate that. We got Mackenzie Dern taking on Angie Overkill Hill, dude. Mackenzie Dern having a very, I don't want to say rough week, but I guess rough training camp. Sent you like a little video right before this. Getting divorced. Her head coach was leaving there a few weeks. Like she hasn't been able to train for certain times, dude. She's coming in with this fire on her shoulder. She's like she says that she don't want to overlook Angie, but she knows that she can beat her because she was basically doing some MMA math because of MMA math. It kind of scares me just a little bit, brother. Because every single time I go Mackenzie Dern via sub and just ride with it. Not gonna lie, dude. I'm a little bit thrown off this week, but I don't know if it's enough to throw me off completely. So let's break it down. Mackenzie Dern, 12-3, won 3 of her last 5. Angie Overkill Hill, 15-12. Won 2 of her last 5. Mackenzie Dern, 30 years old now, 5'4", 63-inch reach. Angie Overkill Hill, 38 years old, 5'3", 64-inch reach, dude. I don't think Angie has the power to get Mackenzie out of there. At most, she's just going to pepper her up for all 5 rounds. But I say this every Mackenzie Dern fight. Her takedowns are ass. She has the worst takedowns. But somehow, dude, the fight always ends up there. Can Angie defend that or not? That is the question. Because this fight at some point is going to hit the ground. And Angie just has terrible sub defense. I got to go Mackenzie Dern via sub. Which way are you going, man?
Yeah, I think more or less the same. Love Angie Hill and, love me some Mackenzie Dern too. Definitely love me some Mackenzie Dern. But we do know
newly divorced Mackenzie Dern.
Yes, just to put that out there. But just for research purposes. But no, I've always been kind of skeptical as far as Mackenzie Dern's ceiling. She's hit or miss for me, man. I just don't see her as championship material. She's a good fighter, and I do like the aggression that she comes out and fights with. She does come out and looking to bang, and I thought that her first couple fights in the UFC, she wasn't really as prone to getting hit, but I think she's kind of a little bit more accustomed to getting hit, and sometimes she knows she has to take one to give one. And I think for Angie, we know the people that she's been in there with, the dog fight she's been in, and she's had a lot of veteran-like performances in her last 2, beating Vanessa Demopoulos and Emily Ducote, who are both fighting, as we just broke down. But I think that, as you said, when Angela Hill gets... Yeah, that's what I said. But
Vanessa Demopoulos and...
Oh, no, I was saying she beat Luke. Yeah, I said she beat Emily Ducote.
I heard Demopoulos, but it's all right, man. Sorry.
Yeah, but basically Angela Hill's takedown defense bad, submission defense bad. I think that sets up for a Mackenzie Dern finish. So let's go on Mackenzie Dern here.
Surprising, dude, because you never pick Mackenzie Dern.
No, I don't, but I know how bad Angela Hill's submission defense is. So,
dude, because you said that, bank it. Angie Hill via decision probably going to happen. But me and Dorian both picking Mackenzie Dern this week. So our 3 different fights this week, dude. Do we have 3 or 4?
We have 4.
All right. Our first different fight this week is going to be Edmund Shabazian versus Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. Our second fight.
Let's not do that. Let's not do that Dakota and Loopy fight because I don't feel great about it.
I don't want to do the catchweight fight, to be honest.
Diego Ferreira.
Oh, Michael hell Johnson. Yeah. Michael Johnson versus Diego Ferreira is going to be fight number 2. And our third different one is going to be Vanessa Demopoulos versus Karolina Kowalkiewicz. So just one more time, our 3 different fights. Karolina Kowalkiewicz versus Vanessa Demopoulos. I am going Vanessa Demopoulos. D Rose going Karolina Kowalkiewicz. Our second different fight is going to be the Menace Michael Johnson taking on Diego Ferreira. I am going the Menace Michael Johnson. D Rose going Diego Ferreira. And our third different fight going to be Edmund Shabazian versus Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. Dorian picking, he just hates fighters with nicknames. That's what it is. He picks fighters with no nicknames. I am going Fluffy Anthony Hernandez in our last different fight, dude. So how you feeling this week, man, about your picks?
I'm feeling like we're gonna bring it back home again, man. I feel like you're a little too confident and Fluffy, and I think that's what's gonna bring it home for me this week.
It's definitely possible, brother. I mean, he is a huge favorite. The path is definitely there. It is what it is. Calling it now and new next week. Lush Lomain. Lush Lomain just feeling it. Just feeling it. I'm about to hit you with that clean sweep this week, brother. Clean sweep this week.
and it'll be the week after next, not next week, because we're going to be off next week.
Yes. So just one more time, y'all. We are not going to be here next week. There are no fights next weekend. Me and D Rose have been going at this for, the past 22 weeks now, dude. Something like that. We've been going 22 weeks straight, no weeks off. So hell yeah. Glad we're back to it. Anything to say before we get out of here, man?
Nah, man. Good pod. Hella news that dropped this week, and yeah, dude, love doing this, and it'd be weird having a week off next week, but we'll come back the week after stronger than ever.
Hell yeah! I'm just waiting for some props to drop. Hopefully, DraftKings drops some props tonight, so I can take a look at just a few of them. Because my personal thoughts is, I think the first fight of the night could end by sub. I think maybe the second fight of the night could end by sub, dude. There's a lot of subs that could happen on like this weekend's fucking fight card. I might have to throw a 4-leg together, like first 2 fights of the night, throw Fluffy by sub and then Dern by sub in there or something like that. Like fucking like this 4. Definitely possible. It is going to be an interesting night of fights. If you're betting, please be safe out there. These are some risky fights to be putting your money on this weekend because Seriously. They are truly awful. But thank you as always. Stay safe, you guys. We appreciate you. So thank you, Lush Lomain, and thank you everyone else that stopped by here tonight. If y'all haven't already, hit that thumbs up button on your way out for us. We would greatly appreciate that. And if you're not subscribed, we're here damn near every single week breaking down these fights, giving you our picks. Sometimes we get them right, sometimes we get them wrong, but it is what it is. We appreciate every one of y'all stopping by once again. Thank you all very much. It's going to be all from us. Matt D. Rose is on that side of your screen, and we will catch y'all in a couple weeks, but you'll see me around for my card videos and shit. That's going to be all from us. Matt D. Rose. We'll catch y'all in 2 weeks. Peace.